Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's gonna be a different video. Instead of a cooking video, it's still gonna be a daily vlog, but instead of me cooking dinner, because I had a long day today, I went to court today, family court. I was supposed to get my kids back January 2nd, but I went to court today, and in court they were talking a lot of mean, nasty stuff about me, saying that I'm not complying with the programs that they got me, that the court had got for me, court ordered, but I did. The only class I haven't done, I've done Evolve, which is what I've been going to every Tuesday. I was absent from Evolve for a couple of days because I had COVID, and the other time was I missed the cab, got me lost. But the main reason was I was sick with COVID, and the foster worker told the courts that I missed Evolve for a couple of days, and but she denied to mention that the days I was absent, and the reason why I had no more absences is because I had COVID. But she did not tell the judge that. She just told the judge that, she missed Evolve classes, but she didn't mention I had COVID. But now she's going back to Evolve and doing great, but she used all her absences for Evolve because I was sick with COVID. And I let her know I had COVID. I showed her proof that I had COVID. I showed the foster worker that I had proof that I had COVID. I sent her the doctor's note. I sent her my COVID test. And they were just talking a lot of nasty stuff to me, putting me down, saying I'm not compliant with them. And they signed me up for positive discipline, and I signed up for it. But I didn't go to any classes because, and I told the foster worker the reason why I didn't go to the class, because they told me when I reached out and signed up for it, they told me that they were going to send me an email on the 1st to let me know when I have to start and when I have to be there. I never received an email from Positive Discipline, so I didn't go. And now, they're just crazy. And then the foster worker, she does these random drug tests on me, which is not court ordered. The court order was for me to do step 1, which I did step 1, and they said I was negative and for any drugs, and I didn't need any services. And then she, to this day, still now random drug test me, even though the court told her and the judge told her she cannot do that. I already did what I was told, which was do step 1, which I did. And I said I didn't need no services. But she continued lying about me and said that I tested positive for weed. But I've never smoked weed, and I've never touched weed. But yet she said, well, you popped positive for weed last week, on the phone with me. And then today I go to court, and she, after court, after they told a whole bunch of lies about me, and then they asked my kids, Maria, which is my daughter, Junior, my son, and Jackson, who is a baby, but Maria and Junior, the older ones, they asked, do you like being where you at? And my daughter was kind of iffy. Like, she didn't know if she said something wrong, would she get her ass beat when she got back to the foster parents. So then she eventually paused for a good 15 minutes and said yes. Then they asked Junior, my 5-year-old, the same thing. And he didn't even respond. He just covered his head with his jacket and didn't respond. Because they were scared that, if I say something wrong or say the wrong thing, am I going to get my ass beat when I go back to my foster home? Which I have concerns about anyways. And I brought up my concerns to the foster worker, how my kids haven't been bathed for a week. The foster parents only bathe my kids once a week. My 1-year-old has a yeast infection because she doesn't change his diaper. And then she goes and says, boys don't get yeast infections. But yet, she's a registered nurse, but yet she says, boys don't get yeast infection, only girls. Which is not true. They do. And I brought up, when I went to their doctor, that it was a yeast and that the only way that he could have gotten a yeast infection was if they're not changing his diaper frequently when he pees or poops in his diaper. And then the foster parent got on the fence and was like, I change his diaper all the time. Okay, so if you change his diaper, how did he get a yeast infection? And the fact that you get money for my kids to buy the diapers, and you know my son cannot use certain diapers. And that's Pampers and Parents' Choice. But yet you use those diapers for my son who has allergic reaction to them and gets a yeast with them. My son Junior had the same issue with those. He can only use Huggies. But the foster mom uses the cheap diapers and doesn't change my son's diaper when he's wet right away. He's sitting in a pee diaper for God knows how long, and a poop diaper for God knows how long, hence the yeast infection. And the fact that you feed my 5-year-old 2 nuggets for dinner, and my 8-year-old 3 nuggets, and my 1-year-old 4 nuggets, and it's a small amount. And yeah, they say that I deprived my kids of food when I had custody of them, but when they came and took my kids from me, they were in the middle of eating breakfast, but I deprived my kids of food. And yet the foster worker is saying you need to start buying healthy foods for your kids and not junk. But yet you go see the foster parents and they give my kids nuggets and hot dogs wrapped in bacon, but yet you on me about getting healthy food, but you see what they feed them. And not to mention the baby gate. The baby gate that they have for my son is broken, and my son shakes it and it broke, and the foster dad, all he did was tape it up and then put it back. He didn't even buy a new one, and he gets money from the state to buy the kids clothes and stuff they need. But they don't spend the money on my kids. My 5-year-old is wearing clothes that are too small and shoes that are too big for his feet. My daughter's wearing too small clothes and shoes that are too small for her feet. And my son Jackson, my 1-year-old, is wearing clothes that are too small for him and don't fit him. And they get money for the kids. The clothes that the foster parents give to my kids is hand-me-downs, which don't fit from their grandkids. But yet, you say that I, neglected my kids. I malnourished my kids. I deprived them of food. But yet, the foster parents are doing exactly the opposite of what I am. But they're not safe with me. And they're nurtured there at the foster home, but yet they're not. Doctor's appointment, which I attend all doctor's appointments with my kids. The foster parents yelling at my 5-year-old for making baby noises and playing with his brother, and yells at him and tells him to be quiet. Stop talking. Your brother can do it. You can't. You're a big boy. And then he was saying, I might cry when I get a shot. And the foster parents like, you a big boy. You don't need to cry. Not to mention, when my son was sick and I wanted to end my supervised visit early because he was sick to his stomach with a stomach ache and felt like he was going to puke, they told me, oh, we frown upon ending a visit early because the kid's sick. But yet, but if it was like life threatening and if he was having a seizure or going to die or need medical care, I still can't end the visit? They said no, they frown upon that. So you say my kids are nurtured and safe with the foster parents, but yet the foster parents are hiring a random nanny off Facebook, and they don't do background checks to see if they have any pedophiles, any child abuse, any, child molestation, none of that. And they just hire, and they want to hire a younger but mature person to take care of the 3 kids. My best friend took the job and was doing the job for about a month. Then she got sick because the foster parent was sick and taking care of my 1-year-old, and then she got sick and she couldn't come to work because she was sick. And they denied to tell her she was fired, and they didn't pay her when she was due to be paid, and they cut her check to $25 even for taking care of the kids, cooking dinner, doing their laundry, the kids' laundry, the foster parents' laundry, feeding the foster parents, serving the foster parents, and she can't take a break. She wasn't able to take a break, and she has autoimmune. So when she gets sick, she gets really sick. But they didn't tell her, they fired her. She called, said she's feeling better, can she come back to work? But they never answered her call. They never called her back. She found out when they posted on Facebook looking for a nanny, mature, younger, could be older, but we prefer young and mature. Take care of 3 kids for $25. And yet, you don't do a background check on these random people you're hiring. They tried to ask my best friend to do a background check and some other stuff that wasn't even required for becoming a nanny. And she said, no, I'm not going to do that. But, so, knowing the foster parents, they're not going to care that they didn't do a background check because they don't. So if something happens to my kids in the care of the foster parents, there's going to be hell to pay. I'm going to, not threatening, but promising, there's going to be a huge lawsuit. And yet you say my kids are safe with them, but yet I witnessed the foster parents yelling at my son for lying on the ground and crying because he got his shots, and told him, stop crying, you a big boy. And when he's sick and crying and emotional because he's not feeling well, the foster dad was like, stop crying, you a big boy, we'll give you medicine when you get home. But yet, when my 1-year-old got his shots for his appointment, they told him to stop crying. Oh, stop crying. Stop it. You're fine. You fine. You a big boy even though you're 1. You don't need to cry, to my son Jackson. And then it's just so bad. Family court is sucky as hell. And so I go to court. They yelled at. They don't even let me speak out about my concerns, let alone bring up my concerns that I brought to the foster worker about. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys. I had to upload that part. This is the other half because it was getting too long. Where I left off was, so they tell me, I go to court. They were talking a lot of stuff about me, negative stuff, saying I'm not complianting with them. I'm not going to these classes, but yet they said lie after lie after lie. Then they mentioned my husband that I'm with, Justin. They mentioned him and his mother, which have nothing to do with the case. Oh, well, Krista says she put money down on a house and just waiting to hear back from the house, but she does not have a place yet, and where she's currently staying now, they don't know how long they're going to be there because they're in the process of getting evicted. which we didn't mention any of that to any of them. So how do you know about my husband and his mother's personal business? That's what I'm wondering. How do you know all this when they're not even part of your caseload? But yet, they asked my daughter Maria, "Are you happy where you at?" And she paused for a moment and didn't know she would say answer wrong because it looks like she was scared. But when she left the courtroom, and when they asked the kids to leave and then address the problems with me, and on top of that, my lawyer didn't show up to court in person. She was on the video. And so the judge asked her, are you aware of these updates? She said, no, I'm not aware. Because she don't return my phone calls. I've called her a million times, left several voicemails and my number. She has not called me back. She does not talk to me until day of court. And usually she's always late or doesn't show up like she did today and wound up being on video at home. And the judge looked at the foster worker and, why aren't you helping her? I'm not trying to be, strict or anything, but why haven't you helped her? Why haven't you helped her find a place, helped her out? And they had no answer to that. And I'm on the Repco waiting list, and then court gets over, and it was adjourned for April 29th, 2025. So I have to wait an entire month to then get my kids back. But yet, the foster worker random drug tests me. And the judge told her, once I do step 1, do not drug test her, and you have to be communicating with her about appointments and talk to her and return her calls. Which, once again, the foster worker does not call me back, does not return my phone calls, does not text me, and then vanishes off the face of the earth 3 months, and then comes back and communicates with me 3 months later, the day before court, and then tells me I need to do a drug test. Oh, you need to go to Emergency 1 Monday and do a drug test. Tuesday to do a drug test. And I said, I'm not, and she calls me she said my appointment's at 3:30. She calls me at 2. And I said the bus don't come till 2:45. And she's like, oh, there's a bus that comes at 1:45. But yet the public transportation isn't always reliable. Because, yes, it says that time, but sometimes it comes early. Sometimes it comes late. Sometimes it doesn't come at all. But yet, I go there to wait for the bus, and then I tell the bus to wait while I go in to the store to use the bathroom real quick. And the bus drives off, and I'm chasing the bus, but the bus does not stop. So I call Sydney, which is the foster worker's name. I'm not going to say her last, and say, I missed the bus. You're going to have to reschedule my drug test. But my thing is, I had Evolve that day too, which was the class she made it court ordered for me to go. But yeah, you tell me I should cancel the cab, cancel going to Evolve, and do this drug test since I'm already going to be in Kingston and just walk there. But yeah, you tell me to cancel, but yeah, you are all on my butt to go to get to the point where you made it court ordered for me to go to Evolve. And then you say, oh, cancel. So then you can look at me and say, see, she's not going to Evolve. And then she says, do you still need transportation for court? And I didn't ask her for transportation because I always take a bus. Wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, leave the house about 5:30, catch the bus at 6 to Kingston, then walk to court. Then I wait there till they open at 9. So I said, yeah, I could use transportation. And then I asked the foster worker, So what time should I be waiting outside? And court's at 9:30. I have to check in by 9. She says, oh, wait outside about 8:30, 9 o'clock. The time I have to check into court. And I said, nuh-uh. I'm sorry. I am not going to take the ride because it's 25 minutes from New Paltz, from Kingston to New Paltz. And so I took a bus like I usually do because I did not request transportation for court. And funny, I took the transportation. I'm glad I did because around 8:55, 9 o'clock, I get a call from the transportation person she set up for me saying they're there. So if I were to wait and take their transportation, I wouldn't have got there till court was over, about 9:45, 10 o'clock. So I'm glad I took a bus. And I let the transportation, I took a bus. I had to sign in at 9. I wasn't waiting. I'm sorry. He said, no, I get it. You made it there. That's all that matters. And then so now I got to go back to court. April 29th, 2025. And then I get done with court. And then the foster worker told me to go with her to her office so she gets some releases, to sign a release for her, for me to sign for her, to reach out to REPCO and Section 8 about my application. But she also asked me to sign a release for the landlord for this house we are working on getting, which we haven't heard back yet. And I told her, I don't have the landlord's number. I have the real estate's number. Oh, it doesn't matter. Just give it to me so I could, sign this so I could talk to her, So you're trying to tell me that you want me to sign that? And I did, and I gave her the number. But the fact, why do you need me to sign a release for you to talk to the landlord about the house that I haven't even per se got yet or heard back from yet? So you could jeopardize me getting that house and tell a whole bunch of lies to her in order for me to tell a whole bunch of lies to the real estate so I don't get the place, so I don't get the kids back, because your job is for me not to get my kids back, even though you're supposed to be for me to get the kids. But everything you're doing, all the lies you're saying about me and my husband and his mom, and all the lies you're saying are not true. So you're trying to jeopardize any chance I have to get my kids back. Let's not mention my ex-husband, who was the father of all 3 of my kids. They didn't ask him nothing. They were talking to his lawyer. They didn't jump down his throat or nothing. But yet his new girl, my ex-husband's new girl, brought him to court because I don't think they're together, to be honest. But whatever, that's near there nor there or here. But the fact that when we were leaving the court, my lawyer said, I would like to talk to you about concerns about Sabrina, which is my ex-husband's new girl. And we don't know what happened from there. But his girl, and he's supposed to see his kids every day. But he has not seen them kids for about 11 months. Because his girl doesn't want him to go see the kids. Not to mention, she has 8 kids and got her kids taken from them because she would abuse the kids. But yet, and she's also relapsed on drugs. And is God knows what else. But point being is, I get all these lies and they didn't even let me speak or bring up my concerns I had. Or let me speak about what I feel. So that's basically what happened today. It was a crappy day. And there's going to be a lot of lawsuits going out to DSS, CPS, yeah, you're going to start paying me because you are doing everything in your power for me to look bad. And this foster worker is known for it. And the foster parents are pro my ex-husband for the kids. But yet, when my kids were in my ex-husband's care, my one-year-old son, not Jackson but Junior, years ago, got into medicine. And my ex-husband didn't take him to the hospital. He wanted to wait till I got out of work. And let's not mention he didn't want me to work. And every time my kids were alone with their father, he made them cook their own food and let my son get into medicine 4 times in the past 5 years because he was not watching my kids. He was playing his video games, and yet he beat his kids except for Maria. His daughter, he didn't hit her. He just mainly yelled at her. But he beat Junior, and he abused my 1-year-old newest baby. And also mentally and emotionally and physically abused me. And forced me to get my tubes removed because he didn't want me having any more kids. And I was going to not go and get my tubes removed, but he beat me that night before the surgery I needed for the tubal removal and made me put makeup on my face to cover my bruises and the fact that I got physically beat by him. And so because of my ex-husband, I can't conceive naturally. I did luck out and they did grow back, but the sad part is they didn't grow back to where they needed to where I could have a full-term pregnancy. I was currently pregnant 3 times with my current husband I'm with now, but we lost the babies. And so at this point, we have to do IVF because we're still trying naturally and hoping that something happens, but most likely it's going to have to be IVF because of my ex-husband, who beat me and my kids except for his daughter, but beat my boys and me, and mentally and emotionally abused me. The one I'm currently with is a lot better, and I'm more stable than I ever was now with my husband, my new husband I'm with now, than I ever was when I was with my ex. So that was my day. Sorry I haven't uploaded for a while. It's been really crazy and busy, and I've been stressed and worried, and a lot's been going on. Would love any advice from any moms out there or dads out there who are dealing with the same situation or had dealt with the same situation I'm in right now, where CPS made the parent look absolutely bad. Any advice would be good. Any way or could suggest me like what is a good lawyer and how about to go through that would be great. So thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe, comment, and I will definitely be back to you guys tomorrow. And I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you then. Bye.